We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. I can't believe I just said that, but I know this man is becoming a celebrity in his own right. Caregiver Dave. Dave, thanks for calling. How are you? And it's a celebrity because of just who you've been with since the last time I had you on the program and all the exciting things you're doing on a regular basis. Dave, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Hey, always fantastic, doing always super, and I wanted to kind of find out what's going on with Dave. What is new with Dave? Especially, I have you on my radio program co-hosting with me, but I never, ever get
I know,
to
you never
hear
talk about
enough.
me, and it seems
Never
like forever that I
you.
was interviewed on your show, and I think it was forever, but so much has happened. I mean, I just... I'm amazed. You know, there's a word called momentum, and what is it when you reach that critical mass where you got this train going down the tracks and nothing can stop it. But you know, that train, when it was stopped, it's like nothing could move it. You know, I have a gas station, and I'm at the bottom of this hill, and everybody misses that sign at the top of the hill that says, "Get gas at the top. There's 27 miles and nothing down below." And nobody sees that, and they run out of gas, and they coast in on fumes. And at least once a day, we got to get a push crew to push this car, you know, across the street, into our driveway, approach the lanes, and it's hard.
Exactly.
You know, you need about 4 people. Just put your back into it. And we get that car rolling, and it gets a little faster. And then the driveway starts sloping down, and now we have some momentum. Now we can't stop it. No, put on the brake. And that's how it is. 18 months ago, I was just a normal guy, you know, just running my gas station, and all of a sudden,
we told you, and
I meet this guy who changes my life, and he got me on Harvard, got me on 24 morning shows. Actually, he taught me how to get myself to book myself on these shows, and then I did Harvard again. I did NASDAQ. We got our picture on the Jumbotron in Times Square. I'm speaking at Coca-Cola, Mercedes-Benz, going to talk to our nation's future leaders at the West Point Military Academy. I just got invited to do a TEDx talk this month in Wilmington, Delaware, at a women's conference. And I just got a phone call 2 days ago, you don't even know about this one, where they want to, I spoke in Hawaii. I go to Hawaii twice a year for vacation, 4 weeks each, just because we love it. And, you know, we're spending our children's inheritance because they don't call anyway. And tomorrow is not promised, Neil. My wife is 74 years old. She's in a wheelchair. She's disabled. She lost her speech from a stroke. But she's amazing. She puts us all to shame because she can do things that I can't do. And so at 52, she had her stroke. And I'm 64. And I'm saying, you know what, we can still travel. I'm not going to be that guy who says, gosh, I wish we would have traveled more when we were younger, you know. And so I got a call from Hawaii last August. I was on a panel. I spoke at 7 venues over there. And they called me back and they says, you know, we want you to be the headliner this time. At the next one, we want you to be the keynote speaker. I says, great, I can do it. I never say no to opportunity. We'll work out the details later. So I'm just excited.
No, I mean, and I think what you really learned is, and again, you definitely owe a lot to Clint for what you've done, but ultimately not everyone that goes through Clint's program has the success you have. You
got to do the work, okay? So I'm just stupid enough to know that if I'm going to, you know, invest in myself, then you got to do the work. How many of us have gone to a seminar and we come back with everything that this guy supposedly knows? We got the binders, we got the books, we got the CDs, and then we put it up on our shelf, and it's been there for 5 years now. We didn't do anything because we were overwhelmed. But this guy doesn't let you be overwhelmed. He forces you to do it. It's the work.
He forces you to do it, but
he forces you.
The thing, but also talent. You cannot say that it wasn't your talent as well and your niche opportunity, because there are many people out there that go through programs even like Clint and don't have the success that you have. And I know for a fact that's the case. So don't put you. It's great that he gave you the roadmap.
Well, I wanted it.
Take that road.
I wanted it. And you got to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? You know, do you want it so bad that you can taste it, And I've wasted so much money over the years going to seminars and going to this, going to you name it, I've done it. But after a while, you just get tired of spending your money on stuff. You become very skeptical about all the promises people make. You find out that people are just lying. They call it exaggeration or stretching the truth. Let's call it what it is. They're lying. And finally, I meet a guy who doesn't lie. In fact, he guarantees he says, if you can't get booked on 3 television programs after you come to my boot camp, I will give all of your money back and $1,000 on top of it. So I said, well, what do I got to lose? And the guy changed my life. I changed my life. God changed my life. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Exactly. Let's give credit to God. Let's give credit to specifically enough this holiday season and how lucky we are to be on this earth and to try to make a difference and change people's lives. But what you have done in this process is that you've said, I have the ability. I now go after it, and I learned what other people do that is not the way you should do things. And so you learned all that, and that's fantastic. So
timing is very, very important, because if this happened before it happened, it wouldn't have happened, because number one, my back was shot. I needed back surgery. I couldn't stand for more than 5 minutes. There was no way I could be on a book tour or chasing, buses and subways and airplane terminals. I could not do that. So number one, God healed my back. Thank God. Didn't need surgery. Number two, you need your wife's support. If she's not behind you and egging you on and being your cheerleader, then forget it. You'll be sabotaged. Number three, I have a gas station, okay? I got employees. It's a 24-hour business. When someone doesn't come in, guess who's got the burden of working? But now I've got a good crew. I've got partners, and they're great partners, and we help each other out. So I've got help at the station. And the third thing is, thank God I've got the money to spend on myself, right? And other people have money. You hear about these people who die, 80 years old, and they were living like paupers. They're living in a little one-bedroom apartment or whatever it is, and their kids are doing their thing, and they realize that these people were millionaires. And what were they saving the money for? Well, they were saving it for a rainy day. Well, you know what? Start spending that money, because when you get older and you die, you go to heaven, you're not going to say, gee, I wish I would have paid some more bills, or gee, I wish I would have, worked more. No, you would have said, I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent the money that I had so I didn't leave these millions to my kids, and it ended up screwing them up because they didn't work for it. They don't know the value of $1. That's my opinion.
To really know you are the man, but what would you say are your greatest experiences? You talk about speaking.
What's the question? My greatest experience what?
The experience speaking.
Well, Harvard, I think, I was very fortunate to be able to speak there first, because once you do that, the most prestigious place on earth that you could probably speak, there ain't too much that's going to upset you afterwards. And, you start at the top, and we also went through a speaker training that he had in Hawaii, and we went down into this boat, and they stuck us in a cage, and we were told to speak to the sharks. The cage went down underwater, and they started throwing raw meat over the side of the boat. And I tell you, there were hundreds of sharks, like 5 inches from my face. And the cage, they're about 6 inches, 7 inches apart. So it's like if they just turn their heads sideways, they get their teeth in there. But he wanted us to practice our speeches, so I did, and I said, but water will get in my mouth. He said, no, it won't. You got a snorkel in your mouth. So I tell you, when you speak at Harvard, when you speak to the sharks, there isn't anything that freaks you out. And the night before I spoke at Harvard, I was getting freaked out. I was saying, oh, my God, what did I get myself into? I can't, I was forgetting my lines. I was over-rehearsing, and then I just remembered that God brought me there. Trust in God, trust in the process, trust in Clint. I did my homework. I did my rehearsing. I went to bed with a peaceful spirit. I slept like a baby, woke up in the morning, gave my speech, knocked it out of the park. And so whenever I get nervous, I just remind myself What are you nervous about? You spoke at Harvard. You spoke to the Sharks. And so I would say that would be the best. Sharing the stage with Suzanne Summers. Oh, my gosh. The woman is amazing. And we were able to field questions from the audience. Do you have a question for Suzanne Summers, and so on. So I just feel like I've done it all, and this all happened in 16 months.
Ice training, I can't believe it. Ice fishing. Did you know how bad of an ice storm we had last night? Let me tell you the story, Dave. And I don't know if I'll put this on this or not. We're going to have our own comedy hour tonight. Basically, the phones must be going batty. And I've never, ever seen the towers. Ken, the towers, you've been around. Do you know if cell phone towers can mess up like this?
Right.
That's for my other time in that area. But I'll edit it and make it perfect for you, Dave, as I always do. We've had some interesting interviews ourselves, haven't we? Are we doing the Caregiver Dave, Neil Haley, some of these celebrities you've interviewed? They've been interesting, right? You never know what they're going to say.
Absolutely. I meet some great people since I met you now. So, they say surround yourself with the 5 people that you want to be like. And so that means you're going to have to get rid of some friends because you will become those people. So are you surrounding yourself with losers, with people that you went to high school with who are still doing drugs, who are still, working at Walmart? Nothing against Walmart. But you want to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, richer than you, brighter than you, more intelligent than you. And guess what? It rubs off. And I'm so grateful to have met you, Neil, and I'm thankful for all the great guests. I mean, I met the Brady. Who's the oldest Brady son?
You remember him messing up that name? Oh my gosh!
The name just escaped my head. Hal? It's Hal, right?
It happens all the time. Greg Brady.
It's amazing that I speak at Harvard with my memory. It's amazing. It's a miracle that I can pull this off.
When I look at the different interviews and the different experiences of
Greg
people
Brady, that's who it. Okay.
Greg Brady, exactly. But you think of just different people from NFL players to other celebrities, the Bonaducci girl.
Melissa Radke, 150 million views on YouTube. A publisher sees her, you need to write a book. Okay. All of a sudden, she gets an offer for a reality show. She's taping her 9th reality episode right now. Oh, my gosh. You talk about overnight success, but, we've been struggling for 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, it's a 20-year overnight success.
The country music stars as well, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Jenna J. from Hee-Haw.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
I don't know how you get these people, Neil, but you've got the magic touch. They call you, right?
They call me. Exactly.
It's amazing.
That's one of the cool.
And I'm just along for the ride.
Exactly, Dave. We're working on Nancy Grace right now, probably after Thanksgiving with her, and then other country music stars are coming out of the woodwork. But you got to interview some unbelievable ones you wouldn't have thought of as in the country music game too, that you grew up listening to. Yeah, and
we're making some nice networks here. I'm friends with a doctor who works at the White House who does electronic stimulation of the brain. It's like an acupuncture, and he's looking for football players who have suffered traumatic brain injury. Well, you've got all the football players. I've got the
forward in your career. It's a great question asked. You spoke all these places. You've had all these great experiences. What is next? Because let's just talk about delving into caregiving. This is something that just really is just such a horrific thing when somebody loses someone through dementia, or they're not able to handle specific things. This is your mission. Where are you going next? You built the brand. Now everyone respects you, understands you, knows you. Now you have to help these people. That's the A number.
Celebrityism comes with a mission, with a purpose. I was born for this, apparently. 22 years ago, I was just a normal guy. My wife complains about a headache she had. Well, the headache turned into a stroke. She lost her speech, became paralyzed on the right side. For a couple of years, man, it was hell on earth. because that's called the grief process. And anger was her favorite emotion, and I was getting all of it. And I almost left. That's how bad it was, because I couldn't take it. But I hung in there. I had my faith in God. Either something like that either makes you bitter or better. It's easy to ask somebody how strong their faith in God is when they got money in the bank, when their beautiful wife is loving them, when their CPA is saying, "Wow, you had a great year." But talk to me when the CPA tells you that bankruptcy is the only way out, that your wife serves you divorce papers, that the doctor tells you got 3 weeks to live, and so on. Now you'll see what you're made of. That's kind of faith that's over. So I realized that my faith was real because it brought me through it. 22 years later, it's just the new normal. We're getting along great. We're in love with each other like we've never been. We travel all over the country. I speak everywhere, telling caregivers how to prevent your loved one's illness or disease from killing you. Now I'm speaking at TED Talks this month, and TED Talks is a little different. I can't promote myself. I can't tell them I have a book. I can't tell them I've spoken at Harvard. I can't say anything about myself, which is hard because that's half my speech. So we cut all that out, and I'm learning a lot. I'm really out of my comfort zone, and I'm so grateful that my wife is along for the ride and that we're doing what we're doing, and we're helping people. So the talk, this one is called Caregivers Need to Be Selfish in Order to Survive. And it's an idea worth spreading. And because selfish is usually a very negative word, right? Nobody wants to be selfish. Selfish means you're self-absorbed and all you care about is yourself. But you know what? Caregivers are so opposite of the word selfish that they're dying. They give and give and give, and there's nothing left to give, and they don't eat right, they don't sleep right, they don't exercise, they've isolated themselves, they got no friends, and 30% of them actually die before their loved ones do, and those are the lucky ones. 60% of them actually get sicker, become hospitalized, and need a caregiver of their own. And roughly half of all these caregivers are feeling suicidal depression and hopelessness, just like Robin Williams, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, they all died of the same thing, suicidal depression. So we have to ask, if there's depression, is suicide far behind? And that's my mission, to save caregiver lives. And so I have a website. I'm Dave the Caregiver's Caregiver, and the short domain is caregiverdave.com. And you go there. I turned it into a membership website because you probably realize this too. When people don't pay, they don't value the advice you give. I would coach for years and years, and I didn't charge a nickel. And sometimes, many times, they don't even show up for the call. It's like they're not valuing the wisdom that I'm giving them. And, let's think about it. If you have a doctor appointment at like 8 o'clock in the morning and you get to bed late and the alarm goes off at 7, and you just say, "Oh, I can't go, I'm too tired." But you know what? If that doctor's charging you $100 whether you show up or not, you're going to be there. So I'm not doing anybody a favor by not charging them for coaching. I have coaching programs to help caregivers stay alive, to help them stay out of the hospital. I have a membership website, and I'm not trying to rip people off. I don't even need the money, but I'm not doing caregivers a favor. If I cannot get a caregiver to pay $97 to invest in themselves, to become healthy and to stay alive, becoming a lifetime member of my membership website, caregiverdave.com, then I can't help them, because they need to have some value of themselves, that their life is at least as valuable as the ones they're caring for, that they're not on the bottom rung. They need to be on the top rung. Put your oxygen mask on first, otherwise you're both going down, buddy.
Now, these are great points that you're making, but let's talk about preparing for TEDx. Now, what are you going to do? You'll only give us a snippet, because once it's live and it's out there, we'll be talking about it in another interview. But tell us specifically what your topic is for TEDx.
TEDx, like I said, it's caregivers need to be selfish in order to survive. So I will go and I'll basically share those statistics about the 30% dying, the 60% getting sicker, and the 50%, having suicidal depression. It doesn't look pretty for them. So the talk goes on, and I keep mentioning over and over again, caregivers need to be selfish in order to survive. I say that 5 times throughout this 10-minute talk. And that is supposed to get through to them. Okay, well, selfish isn't really a dirty word now if you're a caregiver, because if it is, if you think that, oh no, I can't be selfish. I was going to name my book. I have a book that's called "It's My Life Too: Reclaim Your Caregiver Sanity by Learning When to Say Yes and When to Say No." I was going to call it the Selfish Caregiver. And my publisher, everybody said, no, you can't do that. That's a negative thing. Nobody will buy that book. Nobody wants to be selfish. So I listened to them. But now it's coming back. When I told the people at TEDx about the selfish thing, they loved it. And I said, wow, that's a change.
So, it's interesting when you talk about that. And are there anyone else that's ever done a TEDx talk about caregiving? That's the question that you need to research on. Has anyone ever done a TEDx talk about it?
I really don't know. I don't know. That's a good thing to look up. But a lot of people don't talk about caregiving. I mean, we talk about dementia, we talk about Alzheimer's, we talk about cancer, all these famous and sexy diseases that, there's organizations for. There's the Alzheimer's Association, there's the Cancer Society, there's the Heart Association, all these things that get lots of money. People donate lots of money because they want to find out what's causing dementia, what's causing, stroke, and so on. But nobody is saying anything about caregivers. Do you know that there are 65.7 million caregivers in the U.S., and those are just the ones that we know about. There's so many caregivers out there who don't even know they're caregivers because, think about it, okay, you got a neighbor, he's elderly, you see him every day, walking out, struggling to bend over to pick up the newspaper. So you say, well, I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to go over there, take his paper in for him. Oh, thanks. Hey, while you're in here, I'm trying to reach this shelf on the top, bowl on the top shelf. So you say, oh, yeah, I'll get that. Next thing you know, you're making the guy breakfast. Next thing you know, you're taking him to his doctor appointments. Next thing you know, you're his caregiver, and you say, oh, my God, how did I get sucked into this? There are children from 8 years old to 18 years old, children caring for adult loved ones, grandparents, parents.
Wild. Yeah.
Labor laws don't apply to them. They're not getting their 30-minute lunch break. They're not getting their 20-minute breaks every 4 hours. It's really bad. It's really bad, and no one is talking about it. I call it the caregiver tsunami because just like Medicare and Social Security, right, more people are taking out of the system now than putting in. It wasn't like during the war when it was the opposite. Well, guess what? All the baby boomers are getting dementia, Alzheimer's, COPD,
exactly.
Falling down, breaking their hips. Everyone's got parents and grandparents who are needing a caregiver, and there aren't enough of them because the baby boomers are one of the biggest people groups. The next largest people group are the millennials, I understand, because during the 80s, everybody was successful and starting businesses and having babies, and right now that's called the sandwich generation. When those millennials have to take care of their children and they have to take care of their parents, and in my case, I'd like a club sandwich because that's add your spouse to that. And you got a triple-decker club sandwich, and it's no one's talking about it, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. We need to do something. It needs to be part of the health care plan that the president or the Congress or whoever's going to come up with one. There needs to be caregiver respite. Now, I came from Hawaii. They have the only law in the nation that gives caregivers money, $1,500 a month. If you qualify. How do you qualify? Well, not like down here where you got to be broke and you got to have no job and you got to be destitute. No, you can have a 40-hour-a-week job and you'll still get the money because they know that it takes money if you are a caregiver in addition to your job. So I think that's a model for the nation, and I tell everybody about it wherever I go.
All right, well, fabulous. Again, caregiverdave.com. You got your radio show. They can check out at caregiverdave.com. They can become a member.
Membership website.
And everything. And next week
coaching
we continue
program.
to rock into Thanksgiving.
One-stop shopping. It's all there.
Everyone's going to be out. Be ready. Thanksgiving week every time. Everyone wants to do an interview right before Thanksgiving. So good.
And if anybody wants to know how I'm getting on TV, how I'm getting on Harvard, how am I getting on NASDAQ, Coca-Cola, West Point, email me. I'm at Dave@Nasani.tv. That's N like Nancy, A-S-S like Sam, A-N like Nancy, E-Y. Dave@Nasani.tv. And if you want to find me on the internet, just Google Caregiver Dave, and I'll be there. Like Michael Jackson, I'll be there.
That's fantastic, Dave. Good talking to you, brother, and we'll talk soon, man. Holidays are here. One of the best things in the world is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and everyone remembers it, thinks about it, and I got two people that are going to be part of it. I'm excited to welcome to the program Christian Bush and Jennifer Nettles from the Country Music Stars Sugarland. How are you guys, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. We are well. We are excited. We're here in New York City, obviously, just as you said. We're going to be performing tomorrow in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which really, I think, for a lot of people, not only is it such a tradition with our families and a cultural tradition in this country, it sort of kicks off the whole holiday season.
Yeah, if you wherever your like Halloween costume's still laying around, like this is when you officially put it up and you're like okay, here we go.
Yes, it's time.
Yeah, officially it's time to get all our holiday items out and everything. And so let's go with Jennifer. Tell me some of your family memories of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. You got to have memories of watching it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as a little girl, and especially being a little girl from a small town and loving music and not having many opportunities to see live music in terms of, you know, the people that I admired who were on the radio, it was definitely a fun event performance, you know, that you knew you were going to be able to see all these artists that you loved. It wasn't like now. It isn't like now when you can just get things on demand. It was like you had to be there watching it then or else you missed it. So I remember being a little girl always super excited for the performances that were on the parade.
Absolutely. And let's go with the same question for you, Christian. I'm sure you remember it too.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching those balloons go by as a kid. And, you know, it's larger than life to see something that is actually real, that is that big. It's as big as or bigger than a building. And it's making corners. And I remember freaking out about it. And then I also remember this is where I really got my first sort of OG Santa Claus moment. Like there were a lot of Santa Claus things, but this is where he really just shows up once.
Yeah, he
shows up at this
shining performance,
and it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for my kids as well, and they love watching this. And to perform, what an amazing thing! And then you have also a Thanksgiving special. So tell us a little bit about that, Jennifer, coming up on NBC as well.
Oh, well, actually, you know what I have is that is special is a cookbook that my mom and I did together. And actually, I was going to show you, but you're not on camera. So I forgot we weren't on camera. Hi. Yeah, a cookbook that we put together that is really a moment for us to celebrate the legacy of food in the same way that music can transport you, so can food. So we put together this cookbook for a lot of the recipes of our family over the years and generations, and people can get it and put a little bit of our family on your table for the holidays.
That must be fantastic. And how long? It must feel great, Jennifer, to have that finished, right? And finally ready to promote it.
It's exciting for sure. Yeah.
I'm totally looking forward to figuring out the banana pudding. So I'm a banana. There's two Southern foods that they're my thing. One is pimento cheese, and the other is banana pudding.
Oh, you got to have my pimento cheese. It's not in the book, but it is really good.
I accept your pimento cheese. And pimento cheese, it changes depending on where you are in the South. Like if you're in East Tennessee, it's different than when it's in Atlanta. Then it's different than it's in maybe Douglas, Georgia, right? And then the banana pudding is it's the thing for me. I remember that's where I started to eat it as a child, and then something terrible happened, and it's completely gone. Like I'm Cookie Monster.
Oh my goodness, I understand. And so anytime, all the food that's going to come out Thanksgiving, Jennifer, I know you're ready. So what are your plans after performing at the parade? What plans do you have after that for Thanksgiving?
Well, we have our families here, and we're going to be going over to friends' home, and they're going to be preparing. So I'm responsible for the pie and the wine, which sounds pretty much right up my alley after having done a cold parade all morning, so I'm down with that. Christian's got his family here.
My teenagers are here with me, and we've decided, when do you ever get to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? So they came up here with me, and for a brief moment, I will be cool again.
Yeah.
And I will be surfing that coolness by, we're going to go to a restaurant and have somebody else serve us Thanksgiving dinner for the first time ever.
Oh, that's nice, right? You think of how much
I will report back.
The preparation. Yeah, Christian, think about all the preparation, all the things that we have to go through, and then we're like, really, we got to eat now? We had to get the house all together. We had to get everybody, especially the whole family and all this. Now it's going to just be like sit down and enjoy Thanksgiving dinner without having to do all that preparation. You'll love this. You'll say, I want to be here every year, right?
Wouldn't that be cool? If this, and then the kids, they would come up with something. They'd be like, oh, you know what? Remember back when we used to make Thanksgiving dinner, Dad?
Yeah, then they got to
All right, so Jennifer, best place we can find info on you, purchase your book, and learn more about where can we go?
Yes, you can find it online on our website, so check it out there.
Awesome. And Christian, best place social media to connect with you as well as the website and stuff like that?
Yeah, you just just type in our names, Christian Busch, remember it's with a K, K-R-I-S-T-I, and Jennifer Nettles. You can find us. We're funny enough, we even communicate on social media with each other sometimes. So, it's very brother-sisterly, but you can find us anywhere and everywhere and all the different things we do because Sugarland's this incredible umbrella under which we do a lot of things. Jennifer has a movie coming out next year and was in a bunch of TV things this year, and we have our album Bigger together that we just made, and I have all these productions that have come out and different albums and musicals. So, come into our world and stay for a while.
Well, guys, thanks for calling. Best of luck. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to you guys, and we'll talk soon. And hopefully, whenever you're in Pittsburgh, we'll definitely have to check you guys out. So take care, guys.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Caregiver Dave Celebrity segment. I'm excited to welcome to the show Caregiver Dave. Dave, how are you? Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm awesome, and my wife makes sure that I'm ready for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, everything.
Awesome. And we have a great holiday guest. As I said, my holiday lineup for the Neil Haley Show, Neil Haley Network, let's kick it off with this guest today. Tomorrow, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and I'm in the holiday season mood in the holidays and exciting times coming as we're finishing up this year. So, Dave, go ahead and introduce our guest.
Well, what a pleasure and a privilege to introduce Paul Bogart. I got marbles in my mouth this morning. He's a country music artist and a roper. And let me just read a great bio I found about him. He says, Paul, your journey to becoming a country music singer was different. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed that up. If you want to turn an old transistor radio on and tune into a country station, you might just hear legends like Merle Haggard, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash crooning from the speakers. But newcomer Paul Bogart could just as easily fit alongside that vintage lineup. Those songs are fresh, and he himself is young. He's an old soul with a knack for capturing time-honored traditions and summing up classic sentiments in catchy 3-minute songs. Exuding sincerity and a rare down-to-earth charm, Paul Bogart is simply put the epitome of traditional country music. And I am a traditional country music fan, Paul. I guess that says it all, huh? Have you ever heard that?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, listen, welcome to the show. And now your journey to becoming a country music singer was different than other people. Can you tell us why?
Well, I'm sure it was similar in that me and 10,000 of my best buddies moved to Nashville to make their living to make country music. But I guess my story is unique from everybody else's in that I rodeoed through college. I team rope and rope calves. I'm from a small town in northeast Oklahoma, and I was actually on a rodeo team at Rogers State University back in northeast Oklahoma, small town, Claremore, Oklahoma, and I kind of thought, you know what, I just started doing music. Well, I'd played music throughout life. I mean, as a little bitty kid, but I started taking it more serious in high school and college, and when I wasn't competing in rodeos on the weekend, I was trying to book shows in North Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, and so anyway, it just got to be like, this is something I think I could pursue. I got to meet Garth Brooks. He saw a flyer that we were playing a show in my hometown, Oologah, Oklahoma, a little bit, population 1,000, and we'd put up flyers all around the surrounding towns, small towns, and Garth has a place up near Owasso, Oklahoma, and he had gone into this little greasy breakfast joint where we had hung a flyer, and I'm a junior in college.
Wow.
And on the flyer, for more information, call so-and-so phone number. And that was my parents' home phone number, small town, rural Oklahoma. And so I forget, it's sometime during the summer. I'm back home at, on summer break, and we're about to have this show. I get a phone call at my folks' place, and like, hey, this is Floyd, and I work for Garth Brooks. He saw your flyer, and he wants to meet you.
Wow.
And I thought it was a prank call. I thought it was I mean, this can't be real. So I was like, I'll tell you what, Floyd, I'm pretty busy this summer, and I'll have to check my schedule. Thanks a lot. And I just went on, and Floyd called me the next week and was like, have you checked your schedule, Mr. Bogart? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I said, yeah, how's tomorrow? And Floyd came to the house, picked me up, and took me to Garth's place.
Wow.
And it was just surreal, crazy, fairy tale land, it doesn't even make sense. So
you're in Oklahoma. I guess that's where all the great ropers are. But how many ropers can actually sing? How unusual is that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's always a few guys sitting around the trailers at a rodeo or whatever, and that break out a guitar and sing. But and you have your Chris Ledoux and Ned Ledoux's crushing it. He's true blue cowboy. This is Chris's son, and he's thriving in kind of his independent artist country music deal. So. But yeah, I mean, there's a handful of us who write and play and sing, so who do the Team Roper rodeo thing. But
wow.
Anyway, yeah, I still get to do it quite a bit though.
Yeah, Paul. What's interesting is, do you feel that it helped that? I mean, you met Garth Brooks, but do you think it helped in your career in a lot of ways having the roping to help because of your success in that, to have success in country music? Or you think they go hand in hand?
For me, I've needed them to go hand in hand, and they have. And that was one of Garth's points, was he's like, man, you're a great rope, because I did well, did the college circuit, and he's like, you're a great roper because of where you live. If you want to do music for real, you need to move to Nashville. So I thought somehow or another I've got to connect these two lifestyles, and be in Nashville and continue doing this and grow them together. But yeah, I mean, I roped at the American Quarter Horse World Championships this last week, and while I was there, I played a show at the National Cowboy Hall of Fame down in Oklahoma City, and so it does. Wow. Oftentimes, the horses are. We got the horses bedded down, and I got to go play a show. The band comes in and we play, and it's a neat deal. It's oftentimes pretty hectic because you're wearing different hats, if you will. You're trying to show up and compete, but then also play a show and entertain the folks with the band. But it's great. We get to. That is kind of a market niche that I feel like I'm authentic to, and I'm authentic wearing the cowboy hat, and because it's what I do, and we're writing and singing songs about that lifestyle because it's what I know. So I think it's maybe a both and.
Mm-hmm.
You are the real deal. You are the real cowboy. Have you ever hurt yourself in rodeo? I'm pleased that they're now wearing crash helmets. Looking more like football players than cowboys.
Well, I'll say that I do.
Is that working out? Is it saving a lot of lives and injuries?
Well, I'm sure. No doubt, it is helpful. But I do my best to stay off the bucking animals. So I team rope and rope calves, and if you wind up on a bucker to events, you've fouled up. Either you didn't warm your horse up enough, or you're having an equipment malfunction. So I've been on my share of bucking horses, but I do my best to keep them from bucking because the events that I compete in, they're a timed event. It's the team roping. You got two guys, a header and a heeler. You rope the cow's horns, then a heeler comes in, ropes his back feet, and it's a timed event. The calf roping is the event where you rope the calf, dismount, tie the legs together, and the time stops. So, sure. There's always the chance for accidents and but thankfully
roping's safer than bucking broncos. My sister and her husband used to team pen. That was a fun sport.
Oh yeah, I've never really done that, but man, I know people who love that event. Do they still do it?
Got a lot of belt buckles.
There you go. Perfect.
So
he wears them all at the same time, doesn't he?
Yeah, Paul, let's talk about, your fan base. Now, I just brought up, it went hand in hand. Where do you get those fans from? I mean, you have such a huge fan following. It's helped grow your country music, but also it's helped grow you as a roper as well. So you have such a big fan base. What do you equate it from? Your ability to promote yourself, brand yourself? What do you think it is?
Man, that's a tough question for me to answer. I will say I'm super thankful for the folks who follow my music, and they are genuine fans, hardcore fans of my music, and oftentimes country and Western music in general. It's interesting. Oftentimes I say that I play to that group of folks who live in that lifestyle, but then we play in Europe a good bit, and it's crazy the Europeans who will show up to, like we played in France and Italy, and it never fails. When we show up there, these people come to the shows dressed like they're John Wayne. It's just the craziest. They might be wearing chaps. Matter of fact, some of them will show up wearing buckskins in their, show up as a Native American, feathers, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
So it's just kind of, fans are good. It's tough to answer that question because it depends on where you're at. But it was that's always been kind of almost funny to me. But like Europeans, the folks that we play to over there love American Western and cowboy culture.
Right.
Well, what's not to love?
Sure.
Let's talk
about Christmas time. Is Christmas one of your favorite times of the year?
It is. It truly is. Especially now more so because I'm a new dad. I've got my wife Tanya and we have a 2.5-year-old named Jet, and we have an 8-month-old named Ace. And these two boys are a barrel full of fun. Our house there's never a dull moment. It's just real life at the Bogart house. And yeah, this time of year is super special to me. You go from writing be it country songs and cowboy songs to now I mix in the occasional lullaby, and I wrote a Christmas song just because it is, as a writer, my thoughts come out on paper and in songs oftentimes, and it's just a special time to me. And this latest tune that we just released, it's called Thank God That Some Things Never Change, and the song is
I heard it. It's great.
Thank you so much.
And those are just
about
true words that you wrote from your past, right?
Yeah, well, not only that, but just the thought of wanting to continue traditions that have been so special to my wife and to me in our life growing up, and what we want to try to continue with our kids, with our boys.
Great song, mission accomplished.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. But it is a super sweet time of year. I mean, we have people coming in for Thanksgiving, great friends of ours who are coming out to Nashville from Oklahoma. And it's just this time of year, it's just a sweet time to reflect and be thankful for what you've been blessed with. And we're a fortunate bunch. So
have you settled in Nashville? It's not as... I was going to say not as good as Oklahoma, but I can't say that about Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, yeah, Nashville's definitely home. I've been paying taxes here in town, I don't know, about a decade, and I love it. We love Nashville. It's we've got a community that we've sure did with for sure. We go to a small church called Grace Community Church and love the people there, as well as the music. Folks, I'm actually writing with two of my best friends in town today, and it's like family away from family, you know, the music family here, right here in Nashville. So we love it. It's different than back home, and Tanya and I both we're flatlanders, you know. Oklahoma, see the sun come up and the sun go down. There's no trees that get in the way and no hills. And so in Nashville, it's gorgeous and hilly and great big mature trees in the backyard.
Are you in Franklin?
So we live in Fairview, which is kind of back to the west of Franklin there. So
yeah, I've spent some time there.
Yeah, it's a good place. We sure like it.
Just can't get my wife to go there. Otherwise, I'd be there.
Dave, it just seems like you've been everywhere, man. You're a world traveler, Dave. Now let's kind of go back, Paul, to what's coming up. You said your album, the new songs releasing, but also where can people come and check you out? Are you touring? You said you're not roping anymore, are you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm roping. I'm not roping probably this week, but yeah, we rope. I competed in the American Quarter Horse World Championships last week in Oklahoma City and did very well. I finished 4th, so I'm still roping a good bit. But as far as music, we still have a lot going on between now and the end of the year. We're actually playing at the National Finals Rodeo out in Las Vegas. Let's see, that's. Coming up, well, it's the first weekend. So the national finals, there's 10 rounds. It is the climax of the year as far as professional rodeo cowboys. So it's been a goal of mine to play out there for a lot of years, and this is actually the first year we're going to go out and make music. So have a few jobs booked in Vegas. You can check that out, paulbogart.com, Bogart, paulbogart.com, and then we actually have some New Year's Eve shows booked. I don't know, I think 5 or 6 shows on that run. They're out in Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, and Oklahoma. So folks can find out about those on the website and social media. It's just Paul Bogart Music, so they can kind of keep track of what's going on.
Awesome. I got 2 questions. First, quick one, Paul. Where do you see your music going? What do you want to attain in country music? What is your ultimate goal in this? And then also roping. It's a twofold question involving goals you're setting for yourself?
Yeah. So music. Well, man. So the rodeo, the team rope and the calf roping, I'll say that it's a hobby. It's a serious hobby, and I want to continue to compete as long as I can, and I want to go. I want it to be a part of our lives, the life of my father-son relationship with my boys, Lord willing. If they want to get into the horses and the rodeo deal, I want to do my best to teach them and provide that lifestyle. But as far as the music goes, the music, by the grace of God, makes our living, and my wife stays home with the boys, and music is what keeps us afloat, and it's my job. So music is, I want to continue growing the audience and continue working, Lord willing, from here on out. But as far as the ultimate goal as a musician, as a writer and an artist, it's just that, to continue making a living, writing songs and playing them for folks. And I think smaller, short-term goals, we are accomplishing those, just like going to play at the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas. That's been a goal for a long time, and as a newer artist, kind of up and comer, I mean, I'd love to play the Grand Ole Opry. That's been a goal for a long time, and I foresee that happening.
It won't be long.
In the somewhat near future, because I'm hustling. And with the help of 117 Entertainment, they're the management company. Zach Farnham's super guy and very, very well connected, and I think that those goals will be coming to light here hopefully very soon. So we're just going to keep after them and keep working. So that's kind of
how old are you? You're still pretty young, aren't you?
Yeah, I actually just turned 36.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Awesome. That's
all
young.
Right, so
I'm 64. That's young.
Yes, it is. It's young. I'm 45. So Dave's final question is the question why Dave's here. Meaning, one reason he is just transforming people's lives, helping caregivers, and it's his ultimate goal to give the tools necessary to caregivers so that they don't go through some of the struggles that they go through. So Dave, go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, so I have been a caregiver to my wife 22 years. She had a stroke, lost her speech, became paralyzed on the right side. Through the grief process, we discovered that I can help a lot of other caregivers, because I didn't even know what a caregiver was, but there's 65.7 million of them, about a third of the population, and they're dying before their loved ones do. They're getting sicker. So that's my mission in life now. And even you, everybody's got parents, everyone's got grandparents, and as they get sicker, the baby boomers are getting Alzheimer's and falling down, breaking hips, this and that. You're going through a life now with your wife and your kids, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, Dad's not feeling well, Mom's got dementia, this and that, and they call it the sandwich generation. So have you had any personal experience with caregiving in your family?
Well, as far as helping with an aging parent and so forth, by the grace of God, my wife and our parents are healthy and doing well. My
right.
folks' parents, on the other hand, my dad's mother is kind of dealing with the beginning of Alzheimer's and dementia.
You're seeing what he's going through.
Yeah, it's such a tragic situation on one hand. On the other hand, it's a part of life and beautiful to see family come in and love well. And I think it is a legacy that they're, like my folks, are showing love and kind of teaching the next generation. It's like, hey, this is kind of
And my lesson to them is take care of you first. You almost have to become a little selfish as a caregiver in order to survive. Otherwise, this stuff will kill you. And selfish isn't a dirty word if you're a caregiver. So reach out and support them because, they're going through some stuff, and we want to keep the caregivers healthy, too. We don't want them dying before their loved ones.
Exactly. Well, that's what Dave does.
That's a good word.
Yeah. Dave's got it, and he's right. He's doing a TEDx talk soon, so a lot of exciting things for both of you guys. So, Paul, thanks for calling. Dave, thanks for calling. Best of luck, Paul, with your career.
Thank you.
And everyone have a happy Thanksgiving, all right?
Yeah, you got a new fan here. I didn't know who you were before today, but chalk one more up.
Man, thanks so much. I certainly appreciate it, and thanks for the time on your show. It's a privilege and an honor to
our pleasure
be able to visit with you guys. And again, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. You guys enjoy your families, and hope to cross paths again soon.
Hope so,
great.
Paul. All right, if you're ever doing
Okay.
rodeo in Pittsburgh, give me a call. If you ever have, they come to Pittsburgh. That's where I'm at.
You know I
Dave's
will.
in LA. Yeah.
I've got my own radio show to caregivers. Maybe we can hook up sometime.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, good talking to you guys.
Would love it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Okay, have
bye-bye.
a great day. See you.